Good evening, and we're live on Friday, February, May? What month is it? May
May.
21st. And I'm here with Monica Thomas, Chef Monica Thomas, my co-host for Flavors and Fun. We had a lot of flavors in our chakalaka that we did on this past Sunday for South Africa, and we had a lot of fun with Hills of Africa, who took us on a tour of all the sights and wonders of South Africa. I think we dipped our toes too into Zimbabwe to see Victoria Falls, which was also very neat. And we had a really fun time together, didn't we?
Oh, it was great. Good fun.
Yeah.
I was ready to pack my bags at the end of the hour.
Yeah. And South Africa is such an interesting country because it's got a lot of natural wonders. It's got the wine, it's got the culture, it's got a lot of diversity, and it's an interesting history. And so there's a lot to do. And I myself am going to be going later this year to sort of scout out the area and experience it. So I'm excited about that. But we're not here today to talk about what has happened. We're here tonight to talk about what's going to happen. On June 20th, we're going to have is it our sixth edition?
Yes.
Yes, our sixth edition of Flavors and Fun. We're super excited about it. And Monica, why don't you go ahead and announce where it is that we're going?
Well, you really should be the one to announce this one, but I will do the honors and then you can take it from there. We are going to the opposite end of the same continent. We are going to Morocco.
Yes, Morocco. So we're very excited about it. Monica's developed a fabulous dish and a bonus recipe for us. Easy for anybody to do at any level of ability of cooking. And we've got a great guide from Context Travel who started traveling to Morocco in the 90s. So he's seen a lot of change and a lot of the tourism industry develop over the years. And he's going to take us through the history of Morocco by visiting 5 cities from the ancient Roman times up to the current day. So we got a lovely quiz to share with you tonight, and we're going to test our knowledge of Morocco and see how things go for you. So let me share my screen. Not that screen, not yet. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go through the flavors and fun of Morocco and test our knowledge. We've got half of the questions are cooking questions and half of the questions are sort of tourism and travel questions, okay? So let's see. Actually, I have to get I'm seeing it double because I'm seeing it on my screen and then also, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to show the thumbnails actually for a second. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I can't get this to go to the next slide. There we go.
There you go.
Oops. No, but this is the end.
Oh gosh.
That's what I was seeing. So hang on. We're going to stop sharing the screen. Bear with us a second.
That's okay. We can talk about the dish if you like.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about the dish while I technically troubleshoot this.
All right, because you've got that skill and I don't. So Morocco was a little tough coming up with a dish because a lot of Moroccan cuisine is based around slow braised, slow cooked dishes that cook for several hours. And we have 40 to 45 minutes to get from the beginning to the end of a dish. So tagines, which is a term for those dishes, that's where I wanted to go. So I've developed a vegetarian one with cauliflower and a really unique ingredient that we'll talk about later. Are we set?
Yes, we're set. Okay, thank you. All right, everybody. Question number 1. So why don't you? Oh, I'll read the cooking ones, and you can read the ones that I came up with. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So a tagine. Thank you. Is a Moroccan stew B, the dish a Moroccan stew is cooked in. C, both the stew and the dish. Or D, neither the stew or the dish.
Okay, question number 2. Which city is the capital of Morocco? A, Casablanca. B, Fez. C, Rabat. D, Marrakesh.
I love these pictures.
Yeah,
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah, Morocco is quite a vibrant country. Question number 3. Couscous is a grain, B, round rice, C, a form of pasta, or D, a seed.
Okay, question 4. Morocco is home to how many UNESCO World Heritage Sites? A, 5. B, 8. C, 3. D, 2.
Question number
5.
5. Which spice is typically found on the Moroccan table along with the salt and pepper? Oh, this is a good question. I have no idea. A, cumin, B, paprika, C, fennel seed, or D, dried parsley.
All right, question number 6. Why is the city of, oh, you're going to have to help me with this, Chef Chaouen
I think
known
that's
as,
right.
did I get that? Okay, good.
Yes.
Known as the Blue Pearl? A, it is surrounded by water. B, its picturesque setting. C, its remote location. D, the buildings are painted blue.
I think that's one of the cities that Paul's going to take us to, actually.
Oh,
Question number 7. Which is typically added to Moroccan stews for added flavor? A, preserved dates. B, pickled bananas. Sorry, that made me laugh. D, preserved lemons. Or D, pickled tomatoes.
okay, question number 8. The oldest educational institution, the University of Al Qarawiyyin, was founded in 859, B 1066, C 1215, or D 927.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, that's a hard one too.
Question number 9. The most popular drink in Morocco is A, sweet dark roasted coffee, B, lemonade, C, green tea with mint, or D, apricot juice.
And the last question is number 10. What French fashion designer had a home in Marrakesh? A, Christian Dior. B, Yves Saint Laurent. C, Pierre Cardin. D, John Galliano. No, that's hard.
Yeah.
You gave me
So
a lot of questions.
I gave you all the ones with the hard words too.
Yes, you did.
Should we go right to the answers?
Sure.
Okay. So the answer to number 1 is C, both the stew and the dish. I did not know
Right.
that. I thought it was just the stew. I didn't realize the dish that it's cooked in is also called a tagine.
Yes, and it tends to be that conical shape, interesting looking,
And
very Moroccan dish that you see in pictures all the time.
and and you see it in Spain too, isn't that right?
I think so. I think so. Well, they are very close geographically, so
Yeah,
that would.
I think they have a version of it. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, and then you want to read this one?
Which city is the capital of Morocco? And the answer is Rabat. And that one I wasn't positive about. Probably because you don't hear that city as much as we do here Casablanca or Marrakesh.
Yeah, exactly. Or even Fez. I think it's the least known city, and so then it's interesting that that's the capital. And it's also interesting because the other 2 cities I think are more populated, as well as being better known to tourists. So
Right.
okay, answer number 3. Couscous is a form of pasta. I don't think I would have
Yes.
guessed that. I would have said a grain. Like quinoa. I would have
Yes, it's
thought of
not
it
a
as a quinoa, but it's not.
A quinoa is actually a seed,
Oh,
but no,
100%.
couscous couscous is actually made from semolina flour, so
Okay.
it is a pasta.
Okay.
Yeah,
How many UNESCO World Heritage Sites is Morocco home to? 8. That's a lot.
it is, and I was going to guess 8 because it was the biggest number.
Well, one of them is coming up actually. All right, which spice is typically found on the Moroccan table along with the salt and the pepper? Cumin. I would have said dried parsley.
And paprika is in a lot of dishes, so that was the one that would I thought would throw people off. But it's actually cumin is something they use in almost every dish, so they keep it on the table as we do salt and pepper here.
And speaking of tagine dishes, that's one of them in the background, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Gosh,
Yes.
that looks good. Look at the pomegranate seeds too, and the salad up there.
No,
It looks delicious. It's making me
I
hungry.
know.
Okay, let's
Yes.
go to this one. Um, Go ahead and you read this.
Uh, okay. Well, why is the city of Chefchaouen known as the Blue Pearl? I was guessing from the background that it was
Yes.
the buildings are painted blue. That was a giveaway.
Yes, I think so. I think so. And I guess we'll find
Beautiful.
out. You have to come to the Flavors in Fun of Morocco to find out why they're painted blue.
Yes.
Okay, answer number 7. Which is typically added to Moroccan stews for added flavor? The answer is preserved lemons. I actually knew that because I dated a Moroccan and he introduced me to preserved lemons. I did not
And
know about them.
I almost spilled the beans early on when I was killing time.
That's right. That's right.
So that's why I caught myself. I knew the
This,
question was coming up.
the special ingredient. Okay.
Right.
And then this one.
I I knew this because I just read it today that the oldest educational institution in the world is in Morocco, and it was founded in 859, which is really amazing.
Right. In the world. So that beats like
Yeah,
Cambridge and Oxford by several hundred years.
yeah,
And
amazing.
it's one of the UNESCO sites too.
Uh, and you
So
get to say the name of the university because I am sure I butchered it.
I am not sure how to pronounce that either. Alcara what
Win? Maybe
we
win?
win? We win? I don't know. Well, I'll find out. Well, I'll find out when I'm there.
Yes.
Okay. And then the most popular drink in Morocco is green tea with mint. That I did know. And I
Right.
cannot wait to try their green tea with mint. It's going to be,
It's supposed to be incredibly sweet, much, much sweeter than we drink our teas here.
okay.
So just be on the lookout for that. And I've read somewhere that in some of the upscale establishments, they will, if they realize you are not from there, they may ask you if you want a less sweet version.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Thanks for the heads
Yeah.
up. I did not know that. And our last question, which French, oh, you read this one. Sorry.
Which French fashion designer had a home in Marrakesh? I was guessing Christian Dior, but so I would have been wrong. Yves Saint Laurent, very
Yes.
cool.
Yes. And not only, there's now a museum that's quite interactive and very neat to see. He also restored the gardens of a French artist named Majorel, who created these most beautiful, stunning Art Deco Moroccan travel posters,
Ooh,
which are really neat. Maybe I'll see if I can pull those up. Okay, and then we have 2 fun facts for you that Morocco in Arabic means the place where the sun sets, which makes sense since it's on the western coast, the far western coast of Africa. But I thought that was an interesting tidbit, which I did not know. Did you know that, Monica?
no, I did not. I did not know that. I had never heard that before.
Yeah, okay. And then the next fun fact is this one that you found.
Yes, it's considered impolite to handle your food with your left hand. So, a lot of Moroccan foods are eaten with breads in a communal dish where everyone will dip their bread in and take a piece of what's being offered. And you must use your right hand for that, no matter which hand you use normally. dominate. So if you're left-handed, you still have to eat with your right hand in Morocco to be polite.
To be polite. Okay. So we hope that you join us on the 20th of June. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to talk with Monica again directly. And I think, in case I didn't say it officially, I am actually going to Morocco on Sunday for about 19 days. You can follow me on Instagram at premierwellnesstravel.com. We'll be posting things there as I go. And I'm very excited about the trip. And it's one of the reasons why we picked this for our next destination. Because I also have been, reading and taking courses with context to learn about it. And we're very excited about the trip. A little crazed getting ready, but very excited. So,
I know. I can't wait to hear all the details and see all the pictures and follow along with you to see what you're eating, seeing. It's very exciting.
yeah, so I'm going to be staying a few days in Casablanca at the Four Seasons. And then I will be joining other travel advisors for about 10 days. We're going to go to Fez. We're going to go to the Sahara Desert and have a camping experience there, ride some camels. And then we are going to have a chance to see the equivalent of their Grand Canyon, which is going to be pretty neat. And then finish up in Marrakesh. And then I'm going to be extending the stay a little bit more and staying at the Amman in Morocco to do a site inspection. It's the job. So somebody's got to do it. Be able to report back about what that's like. So let me just share my screen again. I just want to show you the page here so you can see. A little bit more about the dish that we're going to be doing and how it's going to work. But she did a test recipe and we got to see the cauliflower and a little bit about the background of the dish. And this is, again, all on our page on the Premier Wellness Travel website. If you just go to that website, at the top, there's a bar that talks about more. And yes, we are going to be understanding why this city is blue, the city that sits in the Rif Mountains on the north east coast of Morocco. So you just can come here and you can register, and we would love to have you. We've got some great testimonials from past attendees. So you can, scroll through the whole page and click on this button here, or you could, if you're ready to sign up, you don't need to read through the whole page. You can click on the top button. You don't want to scroll all the way down. But we explain everything. This is going to be the bonus recipe. Is this special type of, it's flatbread is maybe not the right word, right? Isn't that what I understand correctly, Monica?
Yes, it's about an inch or so thick, is about how high it rises, and it's their basic white bread, basically. It's not a fancy, but it's one that is really good to use with these highly flavorful dishes because it doesn't compete with the beautiful flavors of the preserved lemons and all the spices. So it's a nice basic white bread that you can make. So it's thicker than a pita, but not obviously not as big as a loaf of our white bread would be.
Got it.
But it's a basic one, and you can doctor it up if you wanted to. You could add toppings or even mix in some sesame seeds into the dough and make it a little more interesting. But I left it just pure because it will go nicely with the cauliflower tagine that we're going to make together. Oh. And I have to say, some people are making the dishes, the bonus recipes before the class so that they can have them with the dish we make. I know last week, Sunday, somebody made the mini malva cakes and had it for dessert after the chakalaka.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, so sometimes people do the bonus recipe after, and I guess some people do it before. That never even occurred to me to do that. For me, it was just enough to try to get the spices together for the chakalaka last time. So that was quite fun. We have a question here from Amy. She wants to know how strict the dress is in Morocco. So, which is an
Mm.
interesting question because among some of the travel advisors, there's been some discussion as people are preparing to pack. But our destination management company provided some guidance for the travelers. Morocco is a former French protectorate. Actually, part of it was also part of Spain. I'm going to go on a side note here. You may have seen in the news that there's refugees from Morocco that swam in the ocean to get to the one part of Spain that is still Spanish territory. And so there's a bit about that in the news. And the Spanish owned that land as a residual from a war in the Rift Mountains, where that blue city is, in the 1920s. And I only know that because I've been watching a TV series on Netflix called Morocco in the time Love in the Time of War. And I thought I was going to learn about Morocco, and I'm actually learning about the Spanish conquering Morocco. I'm not learning anything about Morocco. So, but I did learn about this war. It's mostly a soap opera. Um, but it was pretty interesting. So, Marianne, let me see if I can quickly find in the discussion here what the advice was for Marianne. But basically, she's just said it's a former French protectorate, and they're pretty sophisticated. And in fact, in Marrakesh, they've got beautifully designed fabrics and some fashion designers that are making a splash. There was a write up, I think, in one of the Condé Nast magazines about like the art, the jewelry design, and the fashion design that's coming out of Morocco. So apparently, here's what she said. The only thing I would emphasize is comfort, comfortable shoes and comfortable clothes. Tourists can wear short skirts, dresses, tank tops, bikinis by the pool, but not in the Medina. Medina is the old city. That's the Arabic word for old city. That seems kind of obvious. You don't wear a bikini in the old city. The only place you need to cover your knees or cover your shoulders is to enter the Hassan II Mosque, which is right now still closed, just like you would for the Vatican. So there was a whole discussion about knees, like shorts above the knee, to the knee, dresses. So she basically said, don't worry about it. It's only need to be modest if you're going into the mosque. And we don't even know if we're going to have a chance to do that. And interestingly, that's the only mosque that even Westerners can enter. They're not allowed in the other mosque, and it's not for religious reasons. It's actually a law that the French put in to protect the Muslim religion, because they didn't want the soldiers always going in and disrupting, and going in and worshiping their way. They wanted to protect the cultural heritage of Morocco when the French were there. So it's a residual of a French law that the French uh, enacted in order to protect the mosques from the effects of their citizens and their soldiers, maybe being around. The other thing I've recently learned, which I did not know, is that Morocco had a very robust Jewish community that the king actually protected because the French were cooperating. The Vichy French government was cooperating with the Nazis, as we all know from the movie Casablanca, right? But that the king actually said there are no Jews in Morocco. We're all Moroccans.
Mm.
And then after World War II, and I guess in the 50s, and after Israel was formed, and in the 50s, they largely immigrated, either to France. Many of them went to France. Some of them went to Israel as well. But there's not, from 100 years ago to now, there's not the same community, and they were very well respected. They were contained in an area of the city, and I was taught that didn't mean they were in a ghetto. It was close to the central part of the city. They were an integral part of civil society. They were the professionals that the king or the mayor would rely on for all sorts of civil services. And that they now feel that that's a huge loss that 50 or 60 years ago so many of them emigrated, the Jewish community, and the Moroccan government is spending a lot of money to preserve aspects of the areas in the old Medinas where the Jewish community lived, because they want to preserve that part of the history of Morocco, which I thought was really interesting and cool. So we'll learn that and more of that kind of stuff in our Flavors and Fun on June 20th, and we hope you'll join us. And let us know if you have any questions, even if you're watching this later. You can always comment in the add your questions to the comments below, whether you're watching it on Facebook or on YouTube. Okay. Any other final words that you wanted to say or share, Monica?
No, I'm excited to break open a new jar of preserved lemons for June 20th and get cooking.
Are we going to
I
have?
can give you another bonus recipe that's very American using preserved lemons. Maybe we'll add that to the bonus recipes we send out. I've got
Okay.
a really quick, simple pasta with preserved lemons I made up about a year ago.
Oh, that would be very neat. That would be very neat. I wanted to ask too. Are we going to have wine recommendations? Does Morocco have any wine or?
Well, that's a little harder, but yes, there is a particular wine that is unique to Morocco. So we will have that in our. We might have to start calling it our beverage recommendations.
Right, right, right. Rather, because it's not always wine.
It's not always wine, but
Okay.
there is a Moroccan wine, and then we'll also talk about other maybe more easily accessible wines that would go with the dish.
These are so fun. Monica and I just love putting together the program for you. The people who come have a lot of fun. Amy wants to know if there's gin in any of the
Oh,
cocktails or drink. Amy happens to know that both Monica and I are fans of gin. So we'll have to see if we can come up with a Moroccan version of that. I'm also going to be, there's a very famous hotel in Marrakesh where Churchill stayed there was a meeting in Casablanca of Stalin, Churchill, and FDR, and Churchill dragged FDR up to Marrakesh to stay at this hotel, and I understand they have a great jazz bar. So
there you go.
yeah, so stay
You can
tuned for
report
more. Yeah, I'll report back. But we're just very excited to do this. We have a lot of fun planning it. We have a lot of fun during it. And I know our attendees do as well. And we're going to a fantastic place next time. This is as close as most of us can get to Morocco. I just happen to be going with my travel network, and I'm going to scope things out for future trips for my clients. So that maybe others of you who are interested in exploring this beautiful, beautiful country might like to try and go there later this year or in the fall. So, or even in 2022. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the 20th.
Absolutely.
Bye for
Bye
now.
bye.